Ford Focus RS should be a little bit scary. Maybe even a little bit evil. Welcome to the sequel to the movie Drive. With me, your host, a less attractive version of Ryan Gosling. Or rather, welcome to the Ford Focus RS. I've been waiting to drive this thing for quite a while now, and I think I'd better savor the opportunity because Ford South Africa is only bringing 300 of these into the country, which means they're probably going to sell out very quickly, even at the price tag of 699,000 Rand. Now, you may have heard that the Ford Focus RS borrows the engine from the Ford Mustang. It's a 2.3 litre turbocharged 4-cylinder EcoBoost motor. But they haven't just lifted it out of the Mustang and stuck it under the bonnet of a Focus. Nope, this car has a larger radiator. It's got a twin-scroll turbo with a bigger intercooler. They've even changed the way you change gears. It's got a different mechanism and a shorter gear stick for notchier gear changes. It's got an electronic exhaust valve which controls the back pressure and the noise. And lastly, they beefed up the clutch and the transmission, and they had to because this engine produces 10% more power than it does in the Mustang. 257 kilowatts and 470 newton meters on overboost. 257 kilowatts in a hot hatch is a lot, let's be honest. I think where this car really brings the magic is in the corners. Debuting on this Focus RS is an all-new drivetrain. It's called Ford Performance All-Wheel Drive, and the result is a car which feels like it will never ever be unstuck. It can handle up to 1 G of lateral force. It feels easily as competent as the system in the Audi RS3, and actually maybe slightly better. Where the RS3 tends to understeer, this car just doesn't. For me, the only downside of a system so competent is that the car doesn't really feel like it has 257 kilowatts. Sure, it'll break your neck on launch control and pulls out of the corners like a train, but it's not scary. But perhaps what it lacks in scare factor, it makes up for in sheer fun. It's got 4 driving modes. Normal for just pottering about really quickly, obviously. Sport mode, which opens up the exhaust a little bit more, gives you those pops and crackles, sharpens up the throttle response, sharpens up the engine. Then there's track mode. That switches the electronic dampers over to sport, which makes the car 40% stiffer. And then there's the mode everyone's talking about, and that's drift mode. It actually sets the car up to be quite soft. It sets the steering up to be quite light and fast. And it sets up the all-wheel drive system to send up to 70% of the torque to the back. That's so you can get into nice, drifty, oversteer situations, which you can't do on public roads. So that's also just for circuits. But out here, in this industrial wasteland of Cape Town, the Ford feels like it's just perfect for lurking around, darting from corner to corner, intersection to intersection, letting the sound of the exhaust bounce off the walls. Maximum torque is available from 2000 RPM, and for 15 seconds under hard acceleration you'll get 30 more Newton meters. Cranks up the engine all the way to 470. There's a shift light at 5,900 which tells you it's the most optimal time to change gear, but the car red lines at 6,800. And it never feels like it's screaming, it just always feels like there's so much grunt available. Just relentless. Always power available under my right foot. I like what Ford have done with this car. It's so easy these days to line up a bunch of cars on paper and, oh, that one's got more torque than that one, and this one does 0 to 100 in 4.3, and the Ford only does 0 to 100 in 4.7. The reality is that performance cars are about so much more than that. It's about me, it's about the driver, how much of this car is focused on me, and every little detail of the Ford makes me as the driver feel special. And that's what's important. The bucket seats, this leather steering wheel, the rubberized pedals, the fact that I've always got loads of torque in every gear, the way it's been tuned. The RS is a driver's car, make no mistake about that.